Hey, Ruth. Why are you in an apartment building like this one? Only those that live here are allowed to be walking around like that inside the building doors. This is not the place for a sad woman like you.
What?
I saw you coming out of the same building that my apartment is in just a second ago. I didn't get a good look at your face, but the way you look from behind is just the way I remember you. As your little sister, I've seen every square inch of you and know what your behind looks like.
You must have been looking around a lot, because on my way out I didn't notice you anywhere.
Did you miss your old place so much that you came all the way over here to see it again? You had been living in that building forever up until 6 years ago, right? Well, it's been 6 years since you had to go, so that apartment is no longer yours. The only place you have now is a cardboard box in the park somewhere. Now you hurry home before it gets too dark out to find your way.
Excuse me?
I know that your life must suck right now, Ruth, even though you used to have yourself a husband working at a very professional trades company and an apartment inside that building. But you lost all of that to your own little sister. And after having both your house and husband stolen by me, you became homeless, right? Your life took a major 180 and you never recovered from it, right?
Sure, because of you, my life had been sucking for a long time. That's why I was really hoping that I'd never have to even think about you or that stupid face of yours again. But now I'm having to talk with you again, 6 years after what crimes you've committed.
It's your fault for hanging out inside my apartment building. Now tell me, why did you come here? Don't tell me that you only came here to get a breath of this fresh air that us rich people get to breathe every day, right?
What does it matter to you, Indy? My life means nothing to you, so you can just leave me alone now.
Did you come here looking for Julian? Oh, you came all the way here thinking that you could get back together with him? Well, that's never happening. What kind of man would want to get back together with his homeless and Digny ex-wife?
Did you just call me Digny?
I only got a glance at you on your way out, but you looked pretty freaking gross to me. I remember how beautiful you were back when you first got married to Julian. You always wore some of the most amazing clothes, and it made me so jealous that you could afford all those brands. But today, the Ruth that I saw was anything but beautiful, and definitely not someone I wanted to become jealous of. I'm sure all that clothing you had on came from a Salvation Army or something.
Why have I just been sitting here letting you run your mouth like that? You always just sit here putting me down, and there's not a single word coming out of your mouth that is worth my time.
If you don't want me putting you down anymore, then how about you stop being homeless? If you can't stop, then not only can you forget about getting back together with Julian, but you can also forget seeing him at all.
I don't need that kind of lousy man back in my life.
Sure. You're just saying that. You came all the way here trying to get him back. Well, that's too bad, because from here on out, I'm gonna make sure you're never allowed inside that apartment building ever again. It's already trespassing for you to be here without living here, so I'm going to let the front desk know about you now so that they'll be on the lookout.
Yo, Ruth, it sounds like you stopped by our apartment building today. Is it true that you came all the way back here just to try to win me back or something?
So Indy talked with you about that. Well, sorry to say this, but I wasn't there to meet with your toxic butt. So please stop thinking that you're really worth that much for me to still be thinking about.
Then tell me why the heck you were here. I'm sure you are becoming a little bit turned on now since it's me of all people who started texting you again, right? Can you please say to you, I have been wanting to see you for so long.
Huh?
Well, I'm sad to hear that you came all the way here looking for me. I am not the kind of man who's willing to get back together with some dirty woman who ended up becoming homeless because of her sister. You are a loser, which means you are not meant to be my wife.
That's why I told you I didn't go there to meet with you. Even if you asked me to get back with you, I never would, because I actually have pride in myself, and I would never go back to someone who cheats.
Then tell me why you came to our apartment building today.
Why does it matter to you? It had nothing to do with you and Indy.
No, it doesn't matter to us though. I live in this building, and I'm going to become the owner of this apartment building as well.
What?
And I don't want some dingy homeless woman coming into my future high-end apartment building. What would happen if this building's value began to plummet because of a gross woman like yourself?
Wait a second. Julian, you're going to become the owner of that apartment building?
Yeah. I want to get my hands on whatever I please. And I've always wanted to live in a penthouse of this building with all the floors underneath it being mine. But the owner of this building never gives it up to me, no matter how much I offer to pay for it. I think as long as I get another million or two to hand over, I can make him bend and give it to me.
Seems your pride and cohesive have not changed one bit since the last time we talked.
Us men should be all pushy to some extent. Yeah, there's this old bastard who owns this place is getting in the way of my dream. He's nothing but a loser, yet he won't jump on any of my high offers for this place. There's no reason for such an old fart to be living in and owning such a high-rise, high-end apartment building.
I'm pretty sure with him being the owner, he gets to choose who lives in that building and who doesn't, right? It's because you say such terrible things like that he won't sell you this building.
Shut it. I'm not listening to anything a homeless loser like yourself has to say about this.
Excuse me?
Are you done here? I don't want you ever coming into this apartment building ever again. Having even one homeless person walking around in this building will ruin its value for good, and it will be worth nothing to me. If this building ever does lose value to the point that it's worth only half of what it's worth now because of you, I'm going to make you pay up for that half lost.
What the heck, Ruth? Did I really just see you coming in and out of your apartment building again? You were already told by Julian that you're no longer allowed in there.
I was seen by you again? You really have nothing better to do with your time or something?
The only reason I was able to see you is because I could smell your filth coming close to this place again. I can smell you for miles, actually.
Huh?
I'll be kind this time and let you off the hook. As your little sister, I'll shut up and not tell Julian anything about this. But in exchange for my kindness, don't ever come here again. Please. The only people allowed into that apartment building are those that live there. It is not the place for some depressed homeless person to be wandering in and out of.
So what you're saying is as long as I'm living here, I can go in and out? Well, then there should be no problem with me being in that building.
What?
I forgot to mention this, but starting today, I'm living in that apartment building again, which means no matter how much you tell me to stay away, I don't have to listen to you.
You, of all people, are living here? Come on now. You can't just start telling such paper-thin lies now. I can see right through them. You really thought you were going to fool me with that one?
What? I wasn't lying to you, though.
Ruth, since when did you become such a freaking idiot? There's no way someone who lost both their apartment and their husband will be able to afford a room in a building like that, right? Can't you see that this whole place is one of the most expensive apartment buildings on the block?
And I can pay for an apartment there. And that's why I live there now.
No, you live in a park somewhere, Ruth. Stop trying to sound all tough and go back to your cardboard house, you loser.
But I have always lived in that building, and that's why I did everything I could to get back there.
Then show me your place right now. I want to go and see the room that you're paying for. I'm sure you can't show me any room in that building though, right? Because you actually live in a cold and damp park somewhere. Now come on, Ruth, start telling me the truth. Because if you don't, I'm going to have to put you down even further.
No matter what I have to say, all you want to think is that I'm homeless and live in a park. It's been 6 years now since the divorce. I may have lived in the park for a little bit, but after 6 years, you don't think I've moved into a new place of my own?
I don't think so, because that would be impossible for you. You were a housewife when that divorce happened, so you had no way of finding yourself a new job or anything that would bring you any significant income. The only life you had left for yourself after Julian left you was living under a bridge or behind a bench at some park. If anything, the way you've been looking recently just goes to show you don't have a proper house or anything on your own.
What was that?
Just confess already, Ruth. Everybody already knows you still live in a cardboard box. If you can just tell me the truth, then maybe next time Julian and I can come and see you at your house. Which park are you living right now? If you don't mind, we'd love to bring you some more boxes to help you expand your house.
Take a look at the very top floor of that apartment building. That's where I'm living.
What?
So you both can keep those boxes. I don't need that kind of useless waste in my room. Also, you both don't have to come and see my place. I only just got this place and I wouldn't want its value being ruined by the two of you.
You live all the way up there? This is such a stupid joke, Ruth. There's no way in hell that you would be able to afford that penthouse. Now you listen here. That penthouse is reserved for Julian and I for when he buys his whole thing. Julian is in talks right now with the owner of the building and that room, and we will be buying it off him really soon. So there's no freaking way that penthouse would ever become yours.
And that owner you have been talking about giving this penthouse to me. He told me he was fine with letting me have it.
Huh?
Too bad for Julian, who has been trying so hard to get this place in the building. But I'm the owner of this penthouse now, so please let him know he can stop trying now. The building's owner no longer wants to talk with Julian. Since this penthouse is mine now, and the owner does not want to sell his building...
No, flippin' away. Do you have any idea how much that penthouse costs? Do you have any idea how many millions that penthouse costs? No freaking way a homeless and jobless loser like you can afford that.
Tell me, Indy. Since when did I say that I'm still homeless and unemployed? I haven't lived in a park for over 5 years now, and as for work, my company is doing just fine and has been for years. I don't think I have to worry about money ever again now that I have my company bringing in all this dough.
What? You're a company owner? You have your own business?
I really worked my butt off after becoming homeless, and as for the owner of this apartment building, he's always been helping out in the homeless in the city. That's how I first met him, and since then, he has done a lot for me. He even helped me get my company started, and moving along from there...
You liar! What kind of poor joke is that? Because all you were 6 years ago was a housewife and nothing else! So there's no way I'm believing that you actually have a company of your own now!
As long as one has the drive and the willpower... they can do anything they put their minds to.
What?
6 years ago, I was really down on my luck. I lost both my house and my husband and was considering if it was even worth living anymore. But look, the owner of this building found me and made sure to give me the support I need. He told me to fight for the revenge I needed to get my ex-husband. And then he said if I could achieve my revenge, I could do anything I wanted. So I've been fighting forever now. And all in order to get my revenge.
Yeah, your revenge?
That's right. And that revenge of mine is making sure that I end up on top of you both, literally and figuratively. So by fighting for that, I was able to get myself here, into this penthouse where I'll be living now. All I had to do was start up a successful company and then start making bank doing the kind of work I was meant for. I was then able to sell a lot of stocks from my company and get the money I needed for a place like this.
No. Hold on a sec. No way. That penthouse costs millions to live in. You're telling me you make that much with your company right now?
Please understand that I'm not going to be able to buy this place in one lump payment, alright? I made sure to take out a loan and will be paying for this place over time. But the owner was nice enough to have the price for me because he is just that kind. Honestly, I'm going to need to watch my spending now though, because that's just how expensive this place is. But this is just how badly I want to get back into the building you and Julian threw me out of. Now I'm going to make you both suffer for what you've done to me.
No way!
Now that you're aware of the truth, you can stop telling me to leave that building, alright? I happen to be living at the top of that place now, and will be for as long as I want. Also, remember this, please. I am very close with the owner of the building, so if you would like to continue living in it, then please be more thoughtful of what you have to say to me.
Yo, Ruth, what the hell is going on here? You were able to get that penthouse? How the hell were you able to get that stingy old fart to sell it to you?
I never was able to get him to do anything for me. I've just been close to the owner of this building is all.
What?
By the way, he's not some stingy old fart either. He's a very open-minded man, with a heart that is open to everyone and anyone who is willing to respect him.
What are you talking about? That old fart is so freaking stingy that I wasn't even able to spark a conversation with him half the time. Recently, he hasn't even been willing to stop and talk with me at all. Anytime I'd walk up to him, he'd just tell me he wouldn't sell me a thing before walking away. How the hell does that make him open-minded and caring?
You and your wife have been the one disrespecting him, right? He tried to give you both the benefit of the doubt at first, but all you guys had to say to him were very rude remarks. No matter how open-minded he may be, he is not some kind of sucker who is willing to talk with those who don't bother showing him some respect that he deserves.
What kind of disrespectful things have we said? What have we done that's so wrong?
The first time you came to the penthouse with him to get a tour, you guys started to make poor comments about the man. Indy told him the penthouse was being left to rot by having an old man living in it, and then she told him to give the place to you both because you both are still young and cuttered. That's what he told me you both were saying.
I was never saying that. All of that came out of Indy's mouth, right? And she was only saying those things because she was excited to get that place.
But as her husband, you didn't do anything to shut her up. You didn't even bother to apologize for what she was saying. Actually, I've been told you stood up right beside her and agreed with everything she was saying.
What?
I've also been told that both of you wouldn't listen to how much he wanted to keep the penthouse the way it was, and that you both start to talk about your plans for major renovations to the place right in front of him. He tried to ask you both to stop talking like that, only to get told to shut up and that he didn't know anything about the interior design but you, Julian. So no, it wasn't just Indy who was making poor comments about him.
That was...
You really think someone would want to sell you their penthouse and their apartment building after being told things like that? Guess what I've been told by the owner? This penthouse has to stay the way it is because he has tons of memories with his wife in this place. He only wanted to sell it to someone who would not mess with the overall interior and would enjoy living in its vintage theme.
We were going to take very good care of that place and enjoy it though.
No, you weren't. You guys don't even respect the apartment building in which you live right now.
Excuse me?
The owner of this building, he wasn't going around helping the homeless of this city. He wasn't only going around helping the homeless in this city. He has also volunteered at a lot of places all around here. And because of that, he's heard all kinds of things. And he's heard a lot about the kinds of people you and Indy are in the eyes of the other residents here and outside of here. Sounds like you're not only trying to act all high and mighty within the apartment building, but on the streets as well. I'm going to become the next owner of this apartment building, so don't you ever go against me.
Ah.
And what's this about you just parking your car wherever you like in the parking garage? You also love to have your friends park their cars in other people's spots without asking. Huh, there's also talk about you never following any of the rules regarding trash disposal and recycling. To put it straight, you live life here like you're the king, doing whatever you want in the place. And when it comes to those who have tried to correct you, you think it's okay to say that to the future owner of this place? You're literally threatening the other residents here, Julian.
I am not threatening them. I'm just warning them is all.
One and the same. Nobody is going to want to sell this apartment building to you, let alone their precious penthouse. But luckily, I'm here now to take this penthouse away from your greedy little hands and let you know to screw off. If you can understand that now, then stop.
For crying out loud. I only had a little bit longer to wait before making this place mine. Why the hell were you able to get that penthouse before me?
I know I haven't told you this yet, but from here on out, would you please call me Miss Shelton? I'm not associated with you anymore, so don't ever call me by my first name ever again. Now, from here on out, I ask that you please follow the rules of this place and respect this apartment building, like your life of living here depends on it.
Help me, Ruth. I'm asking you to please let me come and take refuge at your place.
What? Why do you need to come and take refuge with me?
Julian and I just got into a massive fight. At first, we were just having a calm discussion and all, but then it turned into us both starting to get really heated up. The inside of our place is in the ruins now, and Julian is so furious that he can't even sit still anymore. He just kicked me out of the house and won't let me back into it.
Oh my. That's a really difficult situation.
I have nowhere to go right now, though. That's why I need you to let me come crash in your room for a while. That penthouse you have up there is really spacious, right? You shouldn't mind only me coming there to stay for a while, right?
I guess looking at this without any feelings attached, there's no problem with you staying here, but I have feelings for you. A lot of them. So you're not coming here to stay with me.
What? Why not?
You know why, right? You're the one that stole my husband from me and then kicked me out of my place and made me homeless. I have no reason to be helping an asshole like you right now.
But right now, I'm really in trouble. If things don't change at all, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be divorced. Are you going to just abandon me at a time like this? I have learned my lesson now. I really mean that. I'm so sorry for all the things I took from you. I will continue to apologize for all of that, so please don't abandon me now.
What makes you think things can be so easy for you in this world?
If you let me come and stay with you, I'll do anything you ask. You are really busy right now having to manage that company, right? I'll take care of all the chores in your house while you're out working. I'll cook for you, clean for you, do the laundry for you. I'll do everything for you. Let us use this chance for us to become close to one another again as sisters.
No freaking way. If you've really been kicked out of your place, then the only home you have now is a park. I'd hurry up and get to making a nice cardboard house there.
What? Congratulations on being upgraded to homeless, Indy. I'm sure this is one huge 180 for you, but please try your best to survive. Your older sister was able to climb out of that hopeless life, so I'm sure you can do it as well. There's no way. I don't have the kind of guts you have, Ruth, but please let me stay with you! It's almost time for me to go to work. I've got to get going now. Have fun out there in the cold and damp park you made yourself home. If you do want my recommendation for a good park, the one close to the main train station is my favorite. There are plenty of nice trees there to hide under, and considering it's the beginning of summer now, you'll find it quite warm. Now, best of luck as you start collecting some cardboard boxes. After that, quite a few more fights broke out between Indy and Julian. But in the end, it was decided that they're going to be getting a divorce. Indy was forced to stay out of that apartment and really did have to find a park somewhere to start living in a couple of cardboard boxes. As for Julian, after he got that divorce, he came right back to me asking for us to get back together. He was being so invasive, asking me all these things all the time and trying to force me to go back to him, that I called the police and reported him as a stalker. And not too long after bringing this up with the owner of the apartment building, he went and had a word with Julian. I was also able to get a restraining order on Julian, which means that he can no longer approach me within 200 feet and could not come up to my penthouse anymore. The news of this went and spread to a lot of the other residents within the building, and they all started to act even more distant around him. The owner also asked Julian to let him come and see his place for a routine checkup after what had happened, and there he found the place was still a complete mess after all the fighting Julian and Indy had got into. The walls were all tattered, and the carpet was stained with what could have been wine or blood. This led to the owner asking for Julian to start paying him for all the damage to the place, and soon Julian was out of $10,000 and kicked out of the apartment. I really hope whoever moves into that apartment next is a much more kind person and can learn to get along with the rest of the people in this apartment building.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.
Megan, if you've got something you want to say to me, get over here and say it to my face. I know you've been telling all kinds of lies about me behind my back, and it's obnoxious. You're a grown woman. Now act like it. Huh? Whatever are you talking about? Talk about you behind your back. Me? Perish the thought. A good little girl like me would never dream of bad-mouthing her wonderful sister-in-law. You're not fooling anyone, Megan, so don't bother trying to lie to me. I heard you myself. I know exactly what you've been saying about me. You've been begging my parents to kick me out of the house. It would be nice if you could at least admit that. Oh, crap! You heard that? Man, I thought you were in the shower when I was talking to them about that. Well, I wasn't. Now, while I did hear you begging them to kick me out, what I didn't hear was the why. So, Megan, why do you want me out of the house? Does it bother you to live in the same house as me for some reason? No, that's not true. It doesn't bother me at all. All I did was make a little proposal to your parents. Attempting to get me kicked out of my own house isn't a little proposal. This is my house. I was born here. I have every right to be here. On the other hand, you and my brother moved in on a moment's notice after you got married. So on top of inviting yourselves in, you're also trying to now have the place all to yourself? Pretty presumptuous of you, don't you think? Come on, Megan, let's hear it. What's your problem with me? Good grief, you're persistent. I was trying to keep from hurting your feelings, but if you really want me to lay it all out for you, here it goes. I hate living with you. It is a massive annoyance to have my sister-in-law living in the same house as us. All I did was tell your parents how I felt and suggested they kick you out. And I was well within my rights to do so. See? Doesn't it feel better to get that off your chest? And no, it doesn't just bother me to live in the same house as you. It disgusts me. You disgust me. I've had all I can take. I can't handle it anymore. You should be grateful I've bit my tongue for this long. Oh? I disgust you, do I? With every fiber of my being, you weird old spinster. You're 38, Sandra. You're almost 40. Being single and unemployed and still living at home? At your age? How could I not be disgusted by that? And you constantly mooch off your parents, using their money to go on vacations by yourself every chance you get. I don't even want to associate with someone like you, much less live with you. First off, so what if I'm single? That's none of your concern. It's my freedom to choose the whens, whos, and ifs of getting married for myself. Second, I'm not unemployed. I did quit my old job, but I only did so because I'd already gotten a confirmed job offer from my next company. The only reason I'm not working right now is that for various reasons, I won't be starting at that company for another few months. And about my vacations. I just got done doing a very busy job, and I'm about to start another one, so I'm using the time in between to enjoy myself a little. What's wrong with that? Did you actually think I was gonna believe that ridiculous story? You quit your job because you sucked at it and everyone hated you. You don't have another job lined up, you're just making that up. Like, seriously, you're almost 40, way over the hill, and single. What company in their right mind would want something like you working there? You're so pathetic. I almost feel sorry for you. Most ugly, old, unmarriageable women at least make themselves useful in the workplace. But you're no good in the office or in the home. You're 40 and your life has already hit a wall. That's a bunch of nonsense. Not one single word of that is true, Megan. I was not fired. I received a better offer from a company and decided to take it. Oh yeah? Where did you get hired, Sandra? At the unicorn and leprechaun factory? Man, I used to work with someone exactly like you at my old company. Is that so? Yep, you're becoming more and more like her every day. She was a 40-year-old single spinster like you. She had been with the company forever, and she always lorded that over everyone and bossed them around. But she was super incompetent. I finally got sick of it and went over her head, telling her superiors what a pathetic, useless employee she was. I may have embellished the story a bit, adding a few mistakes here and there that may not have been 100% truthful. You lied about her? I didn't lie. I embellished. Those are two different things. And it worked. She got fired. Apparently, she had a hard time getting a new job after that, so she ended up working part-time at a convenience store. You ruined her life with lies, and you're laughing about it? And all because you just didn't like her for childish reasons? I couldn't help it. It's like a gag reflex. Some people just make me sick. Especially gross, old, single women. Those types of really get my blood boiling. They completely abandon every last shred of their femininity and just resign themselves to being single forever. And that's why you want to kick me out of the house, is it? Because I remind you of the poor woman whose life you destroyed? Is that really what this is all about? You're actually worse than her, though, since you don't even have a job. Every time I look at you, it reminds me of what a total slob you are, and I hate it. A woman your age having no choice but to mooch off your parents because you failed in life? Yuck. Oh my god. Like that time a few weeks ago when you whined and whined and whined until your parents took you along on their trip to the lake house. I felt like I was going to puke watching you walk out the door with your suitcase. I paid for my own share of the trip, so I really don't see what your problem could be with that. Actually, I paid for most of the expenses too. I was the one that suggested the trip. It was intended to be a present from me. How long are you gonna keep telling those stupid lies, Sandra? No one believes you. Hurry up and get out of the house, you ugly, unemployed spinster. Don't worry, your brother and I will take great care of this house and your parents. We don't need you around. Well, I'm getting married too, so I'll be out of your hair before too much longer. Okay, that might be one of your most hilarious lies yet. You are really committed to the bit, aren't you? What is with older women and their massively overinflated egos? You're so afraid to admit the truth. And you are afraid to admit that you're wrong about me, so you just instantly assume everything I say is a lie. Whatever, have it your way. I'm packing my things up and leaving ASAP. Hey Travis, just letting you know, your wife kicked me out of the house, so I'm leaving. Take good care of Mom and Dad for me, okay?
What? What are you talking about, Sandra? You're moving out? You've never mentioned anything about this before.
Yeah, well, it seems like your wife really, really, really hates me. No matter how many times I try to explain how she's wrong, she keeps calling me an ugly, unemployed spinster. Apparently, I remind her of some woman she used to work with that she couldn't stand. Not sure what that's all about, though. That's only the beginning of the long list of horrible things she said to me, and I don't want to deal with it anymore, so I'm leaving.
Sandra, I am so sorry about all of that, but please, could you find it in your heart to forgive her? It's not really her fault at all.
How so?
Megan had this absolutely terrible woman for a superior at the company she used to work for. It seems like every day she was finding newer, crueler ways to torment Megan. It was all Megan could do to muster up the courage to show up at the office every morning. And if she says you look just like her, then I can kinda understand why it would be difficult for her to be around you. That awful woman caused Megan an unbelievable amount of trauma. So please don't hold it against Megan. She's a victim.
Is that what Megan told you, Travis? That she was being bullied by her superior at the company?
Yeah, she used to talk to me about that all the time back when we were dating. The way she showed such resilience and resolve in the face of incredible hardship. I admired the strength of her character so much that it made me want to marry her. I wanted to be there for her, to stand by her when times got tough. So one night when she was telling me yet another story of that awful woman's bullying, I said to her, "You don't ever have to go to that company ever again, Megan. I'm gonna work twice as hard for the rest of my life so you can stay at home and be a wife and mother." And then I took out the ring I had been saving and popped the question.
Wow, so that's how it happened.
But then, after we got married, Megan started saying that she felt lonely being all by herself in the house all day. That's when I got the idea to move in with our parents. The only problem was the fact that you were still living here. Now I know why she's been acting strangely lately. It's because seeing you was bringing back her trauma. Again, I'm really sorry for the way she treated you, but maybe it would be for the best if you moved out.
Travis, let me start off by saying that the way you stick up for your wife is one of your most admirable qualities. However, that exceptionally admirable quality is causing a big problem in the current situation. Megan is using you. I think it's time you stepped back and saw your wife for what she really is.
What? What are you trying to say, Sandra? I know exactly what Megan is. She's a sweet, soft-spoken, gentle woman. There are hardly any women like her around my age these days.
Again, Travis, I'm sure that's what you sincerely believe, but it's clear that I've done all I can do at this point, so I'll be taking my leave. Just promise me that you won't let her cause any trouble for Mom and Dad, okay?
Seriously, what's gotten into you all of a sudden, Sandra? Of course we're not going to cause any trouble for Mom and Dad. They're thrilled to have the two of us here. And one of these days we're going to have grandchildren for them, and then they'll be even happier. Look, you're my sister, but I have to stand with my wife here. I'm sorry living together didn't work out as well as I'd hoped. Don't worry, I'll take good care of Mom and Dad for you.
Hey there, Granny. So how's your job search going? Did you finally land that super sweet job you dreamed about? By the way, you have a bunch of stuff left behind here, and I want to get rid of it as soon as possible. Where should I send it? Or can I just throw it away?
Sorry about that. I've been too busy with stuff over here to swing by and pick up those boxes. I might actually be the best idea to have you send them to me. I'll give you my address, so go ahead and send them COD.
Gladly. These stupid boxes are taking up so much space. So tell me, what subsidized apartment should I send this junk to? Oh, I know. You're the new occupant of the cardboard box down the alley off Main Street, right? Huh? You poor thing. I don't want to have to imagine what sort of dump an unemployed spinster like you must be living in. Like, do you even have a bathroom? Or a door? I'll bet your neighbors are all drug dealers, too.
There you go, fantasizing about my life again. I'll give you the address in a second. I'm living in the new condo building that just got finished over on Center Avenue. I'd rather you don't know what my room number is, so just put my name on it and send it to the management office.
What? You mean that super sweet looking place with a rooftop pool? Why would I send it there? There's no way you could afford a room there.
Actually, there is a way, because I just moved in here with my husband. The rooms here are incredible. They look just like they did in the commercials. I'm gonna love life here.
Your husband? You got married?
I told you the day I left the house, don't you remember? I said I was planning on leaving in the near future anyway.
But that was just you making up some more nonsense. Travis has never talked about you having a fiancé, boyfriend, or anything. You have to be making up that stuff about getting married.
What's with this sudden interest in my love life, Megan? I thought you were disgusted by single, unemployed 40-year-olds. Anyways, I'm under no compulsion to divulge the details of my private life to anyone, family or otherwise. I've been dating him for 3 years now. I've just told my family about him.
You kept him a secret for that long?
It's not so much that I was keeping him a secret, it's just that, well, no one ever asked if I had a boyfriend, so... But yeah, we're both pretty far along in our careers, so we've got a really solid amount of savings put together. A condo in a place like this is actually slightly on the cheap side for people like us.
What do you mean, we? You're unemployed. I've seen the way you just lay around in the house all day. Even if you're really getting married, and that's a big if, you must be living completely off his money.
It's not my fault that you never listened to me all the million times I told you that I do have a job. If you would have listened, you would have known that I simply quit my old job in preparation to take the new one. And now I get to spend the next 6 months until I start that job relaxing in my sweet new condo. In regards to our finances, I was already making a decent salary at my old company. Once I officially start my new job, I'll be making over $100,000 a year.
What? $100,000 a year? That's insane!
If you think that's a lot of money, you should see what my husband makes. Compared to him, my salary is like a drop in the bucket of our net worth. He's on the board of directors for his company, which is one of the biggest firms in the area. Plus, he's one of the primary candidates for the next CEO.
I don't believe this! You're making $100,000 a year by yourself? And your husband is making even more? But why would you get your hands on such an eligible bachelor? You're just some ugly old spinster. You don't deserve a guy like that. You should marry someone, I don't know, less awesome than that.
I'm terribly sorry for breaking the rules of who I'm allowed to marry. But for the record, we actually met through work. His company is in the construction industry, and several years back, my company started dealing with them. We interacted quite often, on a professional level, and eventually we started seeing each other outside of work. There was a surprising amount we had in common. We hit it off right away, and one thing led to another, and, well, now we're married.
Wait a second! Did you say your husband's company is in the construction industry?
That's right. Have you ever heard of the company Verdant Lumber? They started out exclusively in the construction industry, but they've branched out into furniture and other similar things lately.
But that's Travis's company!
Whoa, really?
He got a new job right before we got married. He said that if he was gonna have me at home, he wanted to have a better job with a higher income potential. That's when he applied to Verdant Lumber. Well, I guess it's more accurate to say it's a child company of Verdant Lumber.
My oh my. It's a small world, isn't it? To think my brother is working for the same company as my husband. Well, it's a pretty big company, so they probably won't ever interact with each other very much. Anyway, I have to get back to setting up stuff over here. Let me know when you ship those boxes over, will you?
Sandra, are you there? I just heard from Megan that your husband works for Verdant Lumber. Is that true? Tell me his name, please.
His name is Alexander Martinson, but I'm not sure you'd recognize the name. You're all part of the same group, but there are well over 1,000 employees working in the main corporate office like him.
I can't believe it. To think Alexander is your boyfriend. Well, I guess he's your husband now.
Oh, you do know him then?
Know him? I just talked to him 5 seconds ago. He's my immediate superior. I report directly to your husband, Sandra.
Wow.
Yeah, they just started up the furniture division at corporate headquarters. A team was launched last week to work on setting up the company's first direct sale furniture store. I'm on that team, and, well, your husband is the team's leader.
Man, that is one crazy coincidence.
Alexander is one of the best people I've ever worked with. We shoot the breeze pretty often while on our breaks, and lately he's been talking about getting married and moving into a new condo. And I thought, that sounds awfully similar to what you've been doing lately.
So that's why you texted me just now, to check if your hunch was right?
Sandra, why didn't you tell me you were getting married? You never told any of us. How could you keep something like that a secret from Mom, Dad, and me?
Well, I mean, I'm already almost 40. I didn't think you'd be interested. Who wants to hear about some old maid's love life anyway? I thought it would just make you guys uncomfortable to hear about it. So, yeah, we kinda eloped the other day.
Sandra!
Just so you know, I did actually tell Mom and Dad about getting married. They've been really good to me and leaving me alone to determine my own path. I don't think they ever once expressed anything like, "Aren't you ever gonna get married?" or that sort of thing. They're really great parents.
But man, it's still crazy to think my boss is your husband.
Yeah, I do feel kind of bad about dropping the bomb on you. But in my defense, I didn't actually know either. So, yeah, that's what's going on in my life right now. It was actually pretty good timing for your wife to kick me out. I'm now enjoying the newlywed life with my husband in our brand new condo.
Good afternoon, Sandra. Hey, how would you like to stop by and have a cup of tea one of these days? I would love to hear all the juicy details of how you and your husband's life is going.
Huh? Oh, what's with the sudden change of heart, Megan? Did you just say I disgust you with every fiber of your being? Those were your words, by the way.
What? Can I say I just hate unemployed, unmarried old women? Now you're married, and I realize I was under the wrong impression with your work situation. So I don't have any reason to hate you anymore. Oh, and could you send me some pictures of your condo? I'd love to see what the view is like from your floor. Maybe you could even invite us over for dinner sometime.
Well, this is a side of you I've never seen before.
Yeah, I know, right? This is how I act around people who aren't unemployed, unmarried old women. I'm so glad everything got cleared up between us. What was I thinking, calling you unemployed and all that stuff? I was such a dummy. Your parents told me that you really did pay for the vacation you took. That was so kind of you.
Oh, that trip to the lake house?
I was thinking, maybe next time you could take us along too. Your mom said the house was absolutely gorgeous. It's basically 15 steps from the back door of the house to the beach. I've always dreamed of spending time in a house like that.
This is pretty hard for me to take in. Up until about last week, you were calling me an ugly old spinster.
I've got it! We can go on vacation together to commemorate us repairing our relationship. You can afford to book the lake house for a week or two, can't you? I'm a housewife though, so I'm afraid I won't be able to pay anything.
Wow.
I know. We can go bikini shopping together. Well, bikini shopping for me, and one-piece shopping for you, I guess. But before all of that, how about that cup of tea? When can I come over and see your new condo? I'm good coming over anytime you're available.
You are never allowed in this condo. Never. I'm telling the building manager to call the police immediately if you try to come in.
What? Why am I not allowed to come over? And you're gonna call the police on me? What have I done to deserve that?
Honestly, I think she'd call the police on you even without me telling her to. I don't blame her either. After all you did to her, you know how you made up a bunch of lies in order to get her fired? I had only heard your side of that story, but once I heard hers, holy smokes, you are evil, Megan.
What?
It really is a small world, Megan. This condo building's manager and owner is none other than the woman you forced out of your old company. She worked so hard for that company for so many years, then one day, some young thing with an attitude comes along and starts being awful to her. But did you get punished for your behavior? No, she did. That poor woman.
No! That cannot be true! That old hag is the owner of the newest and most exclusive condominium building in the city?
I told you, she was a very hard worker. She saved up and invested very well for herself. She's always talking to the girls that come around about how important investing is for single women. She's been dreaming of owning her own building like this since she was young. And when you came along, she finally found the perfect opportunity to make it a reality. She had enough saved up to make her down payment, so she decided she'd had enough of you and your harassment and quit her job.
I thought she was fired!
She didn't want to give you the satisfaction. So once she heard you had gone over her head with your lies, she quit. Seriously, how could she be so awful to such a kind woman? She's been fantastic to me and my husband. Just the other day, she invited me over to her room for some afternoon tea. When we get to talking about her history, that's when I realized that she was the woman you told me about.
This is way beyond the level of mere coincidence. I still can't believe it. That old hag owns the best condo in the city? But I heard she was working part-time at a convenience store.
Oh, that's true actually. Being a condo manager isn't a 24/7 job, so she decided to pick up a part-time job to do in her free time.
She works out of boredom?
Yep. Anyway, I wouldn't recommend trying to come to the building. The best case scenario is that you simply waste a trip. The worst case scenario, you take a trip in a police car.
I'd like to avoid that if possible.
In that case, allow me to make 2 recommendations to you. 1, never show your face around my condo building. And 2, never contact me again. Goodbye. After that, I kept taking my regular trips to the lake house with my parents, but I make a point to never invite Megan. I asked my parents about what life is like at their house since I've been gone. The good news is that Megan still puts on her sweet and innocent act in front of them, so they aren't having any issues with her. They say that as long as she doesn't start acting up like she did towards me, then they won't have any problems with her living there. That's reassuring to hear. As for me, Megan occasionally sends me an over-complimentary text to try and find some way to work herself back into my life, but I've yet to respond to a single one. I still feel bad for my brother Travis though. He's still under the impression that his wife is some sweet little angel. I genuinely do admire and respect the devotion he has to his wife. I guess all I can do is hope that she keeps up the act around him too, for the rest of her life.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.